Welcome back to Half A Hot Rods. This 57 Chevy truck's been kicking my butt a lot lately, so I decided I need a win. This week, we're going to take a radio flyer wagon that I bought off Marketplace, and we're going to turn it into something cool. We're going to do it cheap, we're going to do it simple, and we're going to do it fast-ish. Let's see what we can do. Okay, so it's 100 degrees outside. My phone says it feels like 106. But it's only 37% humidity, so that's pretty good for Texas. And I've got a lot of projects that need to be worked on, so I decided that I would build a wagon instead. We're going to keep this one simple though. The last one I did, it took me 3 episodes to show everything I did and how to do it. This one, I'm going to do the absolute minimum I can to make it kind of cool and custom, and then we'll use it this Saturday for Cars and Coffee is my plan. We'll take it out there and use it to haul my vintage cooler around. I don't know how old this is. You can tell by the stickers, I think. But this one is in pretty good shape. I want to say I gave $30 for it. Might have been $50. But it's been so long ago, I don't really know. I've been collecting good ones when I see them for a reasonable price. So my goal with this one is just to slam it and stretch it. And that's probably about it. So the first thing to do with it is just get it torn apart. So that's what we're going to start with, is tearing it all apart. Here we go. That should protect that wagon a little bit from me. Radio Flyer lied to me. They said if you just tap at the base of those, then they'll just bend in and then you'll be able to get them off. This is the worst part of the whole thing, I think. One down, ready to go. That's how you do it right there. Get under the edge of it and just work it back and forth while you pull up. No damage to the wheel. If you wanted to reuse these, you could. I don't think we're gonna. We gotta pull this stuff off. There's 4 lock nuts here, 4 lock nuts there. And it's all flathead screwdriver inside. And these magnetic trays go on sale at Harbor Freight. They're like $2. They're not super strong, but they're strong enough to hold little stuff. Rear suspension's out. Now if we were going to do custom paint, this is where we would do that. I'm not doing anything with the paint. I'm putting it back together with the same paint on the tub and the suspension as what it's got right now.
Are you sure?
Let's straighten this out a little. Probably not going to stay that way. Now we have some choices to make. We need to decide what we want to do for wheels. And we could use the stock ones. We could just lower the whole thing on stock ones. Or I've got these guys that I've been gathering for a while. These are all off lawnmowers. Lawnmowers and I don't know. Some of them are off other things. I don't remember what they were off. But let me show you what we're going to do with the front. So we're going to extend the front out until it's long enough that the wheels don't hit when they turn. We're going to use the stock stuff. We're just going to flip it over like so. We got to get this guy off. It's just a cotter pin and a nut. Trying to do this without any major welding. Really without any welding at all.
No, it could happen. I've never seen it happen, but it could happen.
Okay. And then we put these guys back here. Just going to raise that up some. It's going to give her a pretty good rake. And then we got to get this out far enough that when it turns, it doesn't hit. So it's got to go up some more. Probably somewhere out there. Might have to move more of the junk off my bench. Also, I think these are 1/2 inch. Now, could I just bolt them to the side? Probably. But if I just bolt them to the side, I'm depending on the side of this to be strong enough for everything, and I'm just not sure it is. I could do some angle brackets, but you're getting into more fabrication there. My idea is just to run the axle underneath and then call it good. Brilliant. That's going to be a little high in the front. I'd rather have it be low. And then we just need something to extend the front, which will be this big chunk of square tube here. We'll cut it to the length we want. I think we need to set the back first and then see where we're at. I'm pretty sure, we'll double check, but I'm pretty sure that these are 1/2 and these are less. Oh, they're not. Oh, the problem is, in order to use this axle, I've got to keep it completely under the wagon. I'll show you what I mean. Because they are too narrow to work otherwise. And while a lifted wagon is cool, that's not really what I'm going for. I think I have some 1/2 inch all thread. If you didn't, you go buy it at a hardware store. We can cut this, re-drill it, drop it down, put a longer all thread through it, and then we'll rock and roll.
Now let's rock and roll.
Can we lay it right on those holes that are already there and come through? I bet we can. See those holes? I bet we can drill those out to 1/2 inch. I know they're on the curve, but they're probably in the same spot. So, yeah. Maybe I shouldn't put my drink where I'm grinding. Need a little more iron in my diet. Let's just measure and mark this bad boy. If I trusted myself more with a tape measure, we'd just get some measurements. But since I know me, we're going to take a couple of these screws and nuts, and we're going to put this back on, and then we're going to test fit. Okay, kind of somewhat tight, and we're going to get our all thread, ready rod, all thread, ready rod, whatever you call it. Shove it through there, put our wheel on. Don't worry, I've got a plan to keep it from hitting the side of the tub. We're just going to wrap it in duct tape. Just kidding. Maybe. Okay. Oh, yeah. Look at that. All right. Then we'll get our our piece of 3/4 inch square tube, or 1 inch, whatever that is. And we'll run that front to back. Oh. Come on, work with me here. Something like that. Yeah? Yeah. So this will probably have to sit up about somewhere like there. I don't think that's too much, right? Got your little hot rod look to it. It's about where I want to cut that. Just give them a little touch up so they don't rust. Front suspension. See if I got a shorter piece of tube. Because my tube is way too long.
I see what you did there.
Need another set of hands again. So that sits there. And it pivots on its current pivot point. I think we're going to have to spin that axle up so it can ride on top of that bar. Would be the cleanest way to do this. May not be real easy though. Show you what I'm doing. This has to be able to move in this arc. We're going to flip this over and then we'll move this in this arc. We'll put a pin through here for it to pivot on. I'm going to have to flip this over so it sits on top or flat at least. And yeah, okay. So that's what we need. We also need to hold it back in the same spot again. So once we get our bar set in here, we'll figure out where we want it. So we'll center it on there. We're going to end up trimming some off the ends here too. Yep, that's what we'll do. And then maybe we could put something cool on there. Like a cooler or something. Simple. We're supposed to be keeping this simple. You need to focus and keep it simple, stupid. This would be another fine time to have an assistant. Then we can flip it over and mark it, right? Sure, why not? Release my lovely assistants from their duties momentarily. And then I guess we'll just get to drilling. We gotta put these on the tub and figure out where to cut them and trim them and all that. That's still warm. I like to use this same spot because, well, it's easy. And also, these bend easy enough, usually. And now we've got a mark for the center of our hole. Well, I don't know when the battery died, but that's what she'll look like. Now we blow it all apart, put a couple of tacks on there to hold that front where we want it, which will hold that up just a hair. We're going to put a shorter bolt in the middle. Let me show you. We're going to tack here and tack here, put a shorter bolt there. And then we'll have to add some nuts back here to hold everything in place side to side. Put lock nuts on the outside. But that is how it will look. And do a whole bunch of cleaning because that's dirty. This is, I mean, that is low. But it is not on the ground. Be real easy to make it drag the ground though, won't it? May have to see if we can wedge that a little bit. How would I do that? Weld those washers together and then grind them so that they're a wedge shape. That's a lot for what we're trying to do here. I shouldn't do that, but I might. But, yeah. We'll throw a blanket in there because I don't have my piece of plywood like I really like to do. And then, hold on. Then we got a cool way to haul our drinks. Boom, chakalaka. Huh? What do you think? What do you think?
I think you're gross.
Ah, it's so hot. Why is it so hot?
Oh, I haven't used this in a minute. No critters, that's good. Now I just got to sort out some more hardware and, yeah, not paint. I have to resist the urge to paint, which should be pretty easy because it's hot and I don't want to. But I think the donkeys are calling me to feed them. I need another drink. And yeah, we'll be back. Alright, so we're back for day 2 of the simple, easy, quick wagon build. I got everything pretty much laid out yesterday how I wanted to do it. And then came back out last night just to finish up a couple things. I needed to paint the square tube because it was bare metal. Or I could have just let it rust, I guess, if I was doing a rat wagon, but that wasn't really my plan here. Anyway, so I came out and I made a mistake in my measuring. I measured that I needed like 3/4 of an inch for these little nuts to go back on the front axle. I needed that outside the wheel. And then I took the wheel off and I measured out 3/4 of an inch and I cut it. And then I realized that doesn't make sense. So that's what's left of that front axle after I got it all, of course, that I got it all tacked in there and, you know, all that done. So I had to cut my tacks and add a piece of all thread and build a new front axle. And oh yeah, I couldn't help myself. I had a can of gloss black, and look how much better those look than faded, scratched up old black, right? I mean, the whole thing with my mistake and the prep and paint added like an hour and a half. So yeah, so we're at 3 hours yesterday afternoon, hour and a half last night with a goof, and now I'm ready for final assembly, except I think I'm going to have to go to the store for one bolt, the 1/2-inch bolt for my pivot point, but we'll address that when we get there. So here we go. Torque spec on 1/4-inch hardware is going to be pretty tight, but not too tight. If you strip it, that's too tight. So you have to back it off a little.
What?
We need to have a stop on the inside, so I'm going to use a nylon lock nut to do that, so that we've got a positive stop for the inside of the wheel. You could double nut with regular nuts. I've got these lock nuts, so that's what I'm going to use. And we're going to hope that they don't want to spin the whole thing. Every time. 50-50-90 rule. And it just spun it. That's exactly what I didn't want you to do. So, I'm going to have to hold my freshly painted bolt. I didn't double nut this on the inside because I didn't think I'd need to. Oh, it makes me sick. We've got that much sticking out there and nothing there. So I moved my axle. Alright, we can adjust it. We got to put wrenches on our new parts, which is not ideal. Our newly painted parts, they're not new, let's be honest. Okay, you can see by the rust there how much I moved that out. Might try to get some paint on that, but I might not. I think we probably have room for a washer on the inside now. Let's try that. Yeah, I don't know if we got room for one on the outside. Probably not. So which one is more important, the inside or the outside? Aesthetics wise, well, I kind of like where that puts that. That one's that way. Oh yeah, I think we gotta put the washer on the outside just for looks. Oh, where have my little wheels gone? Where could they be? I found them. They're right here. I went to lunch, let my clothes dry out, went to town for one bolt, which I don't usually do, but I didn't have the right length and I couldn't cut that one down because the threads didn't go far enough. So we're back at it. Here we go. All right, one bolt. And I bought a lock nut, not because I needed it, but because it's the right color. So, yeah. Still looks pretty long, doesn't it? So do I cut it down? Or do I just run it? I really don't want to cut it down, but I do want to cut it down.
Okay.
How did I manage to get that so much too long? Do you know? Anybody have any theories? Could it have something to do with les incompetents?
No, I don't speak Spanish. In English, please.
I think we're going to cut it. We're going to cut it. It'll only take a minute, and it'll look better forever. All right, well, we're about six and a half hours into this project. I've got, if I could remember what I paid for the wagon, either $50 in parts or $70 in parts. I don't know which, really, but pretty cheap project overall, and it looks cool. Let's get it loaded up and take it down to Cars and Coffee. That's the good stuff right there. Guys, I'm pretty happy with the results of this project. Keep in mind, you know if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.